You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Sing-Off After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Sing-Off After Show.
Oh, wow. Hey, everybody. We are so happy to be here. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ. This is The Sing-Off, Season 4, Episode 2 and 3. I am Tamara Berg. I am joined in studio by Stephen Bottomley.
Hi.
And Kimlai Yingling.
Hey.
My good friends. And as we have started a precedent for this season, oh, that was a little abrupt. We are drinking before we get on the air. So, Steve,
we're drinking on
and
the
now
air.
We can drink. Cheers.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
I want to thank you for making my dreams come true of being Hoda and Kathy Lee right now. And you're our Chewy.
Okay. Pretty excited about this thing off still, and it's absolutely living up to its hype and the buzz and what we have loved about the show. So episode 2 was Party Anthems. Episode 3, #1 hits.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of, so this is 3 hours we're going to cover in our podcast this afternoon, and loving it. So let's just get right into it. We have the group number for episode 2, which was a mashup of Let's Get It Started by the Black Eyed Peas, Die Young, and Don't Stop the Music. I love how they stage this, where they have little vignettes of each group coming in and kind of setting them up. We get to see the chyron of who they are, and then they all come together throughout. It works every single time. And this was a big sort of wall of sound number. Again, loved hearing the bass. What are your guys' thoughts? Kimlai, go.
You know what? I think it would be amazing if like the groups all gelled together and made one big group.
A super a cappella group.
Yay! that was it.
No,
I'm not big on that.
I always go to like the behind the scenes sort of like, who do they choose? Why do they choose that guy?
Like the director and the producers.
when they have to give him the solo.
Yeah.
Because I'm always thinking, you know, there's value in that moment. You know, you're bringing that guy up. How did he get that spot? Why are you choosing that guy? What was the thought process behind? I'd love to be in that meeting.
And you know, we commented on that a lot last season with Michael from the Dartmouth Airs being highlighted so much.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the ones that early on was a very specific choice, and it was obvious that they were highlighting him and making him into a star. He's on Broadway now. He's doing all kinds of things, and so that's definitely an advantage to the singer.
That's what you call a money shot.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. It creates opportunities for these people. Okay, look it up on an Urban Dictionary. Steve's been around longer than any of us, and so he knows things that we don't know.
I was there before the internet.
The internet.
They did a little bit of a recap of the Princeton, oh my God, I can't even remember their name anymore, but the Princeton group being eliminated. And Ben saying, why didn't they do that, you know, earlier on in the show? They did, you know, they kind of brought it in the Ultimate Sing-Off. And the Ultimate Sing-Off is one of those great things that we love so much about this season. So anyway, just a little bit of a recap. So now let's get into each of we had all 9 of our groups in episode 2. So let's go through. Vocal Rush, they're the high school group. They did Gonna Make You Sweat, CNC Music Factory. My thoughts, they were amazing. The soloist, Sarah, I thought was incredible, but Jewel commented that they were rushing, and here was the thing that came up. I think it was Ben, maybe, who noticed there were only 2 men in that group.
Right.
And they had this incredibly full sound. And I think that's going to be a theme from here on out, is that full sound that you get when you have a full spectrum of voices, enough personalities to be able to fill all the spectrum, and you know, the opportunity to kind of get everything in that you want, the percussion, all of the notes and the dynamics and that sort of thing. And so it was interesting that we all kind of noticed there were only 2 guys in this group at that point, but I thought it was an excellent performance. You guys? Steve, you start.
Well, With them, I think it's really cool to see them so young and doing, such awesome work up there. But when I was watching, I was thinking, after you do that breakdown, after you do that countdown to the thing, that's got to be huge.
Yeah.
Because you're basically setting everybody up for here it comes, and if you're even just a little bit underneath that, you're
right,
and now you've got to kind of dig out of that hole.
Right.
So that's the sort of
you
stuff
have to deliver.
And I think like 10 is smart enough, and I'm not smart enough, but they have enough experience to hear that.
Yep.
So if they've got someone in their camp to kind of go, okay, dynamically, you guys, you need to start up and down, start fill stuff in. But they're holding their own.
Yeah,
I mean, they're, I thought they got a little bit of a pass week 1. I had nothing to say this week. I mean, they stepped up and went past this.
Right, exactly. Kimlai, your thoughts on Vocal Rush?
Well, I thought, I thought it was interesting that Ben said, you guys they're so good that they're losing their advantage of being the youngest group.
Right, because out of the gate, they're impressing us beyond their age.
I thought this performance was good, but it didn't wow me.
Okay.
I didn't at all get goosebumps. I didn't at all go, wow, that was amazing.
Okay.
It was what it was.
Okay. So next we had Home Free, which are the country group.
They keep wanting to call them Home Fries.
they're called Home Fries.
Which is also a great name.
It is. Life is a Highway, Rascal Flatts song. They talked about in the package about how they can't dance. Steve, your favorite line from this package was?
My hips lie.
From the big dude, the big bearded dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you give the right guy the right line, that's a career.
Right. Incredibly consistent, though, and like Sean said, country music is one of those places where there's a beginning, middle, and end, and that's what people are looking for. The soloist Austin was incredible, and they have the bass that covers the spectrum for everybody. I mean, we don't want them to leave the show just because we want to keep hearing that bass.
Well, and I think that's kind of maybe their problem, because to me, I didn't think the bass was exactly on pitch. He's so low that if he's not exactly right, it's pretty noticeable.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, and I thought it was a little bit pitchy. And if you hear that song on the radio,
right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And I was not doing that in this. I was waiting for that moment.
So they're kind of missing the groove.
There's a reason these are party anthems, and party anthems want you to get up and dance, and you do that with a beat, and you do that with energy. And I just did not feel that with Home Free, and I think it might be because they're in the same problem that a couple of them have,
right?
Which is
their
genre is locked,
right?
We'll see.
But if you'll remember. Was it last season with Street Corner Symphony?
Right.
Yeah, season 3. Yeah, it was Street Corner Symphony. Similar vibe. No, it was season 2. Similar vibe, kind of the country guys, but they could move into rock and roll and do sort of the Lynyrd Skynyrd kind of crossover thing.
Okay.
To look it up on the internet, those of you who are under 30. But so I think that's an opportunity for these guys that I think they're talented enough that they can cross over from the genre, but they're representing country now and they're going to move forward. So we'll see. Let's move on to Voice Play. They're the group from Orlando. That's the kind of 5 guys who they all work at the theme park, and they have the lead singer woman, the one who came in with the crazy red hair. So they did Play That Funky Music, Wild Cherry, one of the great sort of party anthems of all time. I felt like there was a problem at the end of the first chorus, and they never commented on that, but if you go back and watch the video, they're singing, and Jewel kind of looks at them, she's staring at them, and she goes, she's like, huh. And I felt like I heard something there, but I felt like it had to do with the chorus and the jazz chords and the kind of modulation.
Good, bad?
Well,
what do you mean?
I mean, I read it as being strange, as not quite working, but as we keep talking about, what they hear in the studio is not what we hear on TV, because our feedback has been so different. Every season we've talked about it. I mean, we've talked about it live, for 2 seasons, but before that, you kind of sit there and think, are they hearing the same thing I'm hearing? Because it sounds weird.
Well, being at the finale proved that also.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just
Last
a different
season,
sound in the studio. It's just you do not get the same sound.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about this one, Kimlai?
I really, you know what? I loved the look that they had for
Yeah.
this song, the play the funky music.
Right.
I really, really liked Honey's voice.
Yeah.
I thought she carried it completely, and the rap. It was her timing was perfect for that rap.
Right. One of the
really
things
liked it.
about this one for me is I love this song, and I usually don't like huge departures from the one that we've known for so long, but I feel like these guys made it new, and it was really, really good, and I really appreciated it. Did you get that sense, Steve? 'Cause I know
Absolutely.
you and I have very similar taste in music.
No, when I found out they were doing that, I got really excited because I do like this song.
Yeah.
And that is, if you want to do a party song, that's a great one. And I agree. I thought the rap was a nice change.
Yeah.
I thought they just kind of, to me, it kind of said, we were on a sing-off last week.
And we're not going back.
We're not going back.
Yeah.
Right.
And, it's kind of like, wow, they focused.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I liked
Yeah.
it a lot. It was one of my favorites.
All right, so next we had Street Corner Renaissance. This is, again, episode 2 we're talking about. So they did
Yes.
Do You Love Me by the Contours. It was, they did a lot of dancing. They had some breaks within it. And I think this is really interesting to talk about because I felt that the lead was a little bit inconsistent vocally. I felt like he had a little bit of a hard time locking in. And the judges basically were talking about how they were very true to their style of doo-wop and true to
Yes.
where they came from. Like, Jewel even said, less is more. And I think that this is going to come up as a conversation point from here on out. I know that general audiences, I'm going to make an assumption for the general audience that we as a general audience prefer that kind of wall of sound, the fullness, where they keep talking about how the mid-range is that's where the audience kind of comes alive.
Yes.
And they sort of have a space in there in that range. And it has everything to do with the style that they come from. So when Jewel or Ben talks about how they're remaining true to their style and sometimes less is more, I think it takes perhaps a more sophisticated musical knowledge to be able to recognize the beauty of the simplicity of this a cappella, because we're so used to hearing these great big groups who bring, so many parts and so many layers and so much depth to it, that with these fewer people staying within the doo-wop style, we kind of miss some of it. So that's my dissertation. Steve, tell me what you think about that.
I lost
While I take some
track
champagne.
soon after listening to this. No.
Oh my God. Kimlai's like chomping at
I
the bit.
got you on this.
Hey.
Steve, go, talk.
Well, no, go. What do you got?
Oh, no,
What
go
do you
ahead.
got? Okay. Here's the thing. I absolutely agree with what you're saying. And I think that is the
Good,
problem.
because I'm right and you should at all times.
Always agree with Tamara. Always agree with Tamara.
Always agree with the host. And this has been the big challenge when you come in as a doo-wop a cappella group.
Yeah.
It is what everyone expects it to. Now, if you were there in front of them, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting back through, your television, it loses so much. To choose that song, Do You Love Me? That original song that's the guy screaming,
Yeah.
Do you love me? I mean, that's frustration. For God's sake, give me an answer. Do you love me?
Yeah.
And then to have them come out and just kind of go, hey.
So they sort of didn't sell it?
I don't think they sold it at all for me.
Okay.
But I think you have something to say on this.
Go ahead,
Well, no,
Kimlai.
I just, you know what? They are what they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's all they're going to be.
Okay.
It is what it is. I think that the a cappella groups have evolved so much. You have to have the dance element. You have to have that middle tone going on. You have to have, there's so many more, everything evolves. And these guys have stayed in their time frame that they are.
Right.
And it's great. And it's very appreciated. It is the basis of a cappella groups.
Absolutely.
But you have to evolve. Do I think they're going to be in it for the long run? No.
Well, we know.
But we appreciate what they bring. I love their look. I love their singing. It's like, I really, really love who was helping them. The vocal rush. This is what I didn't notice.
Oh, yeah,
Vocal
yeah.
rush
We
was
talked
helping
about
them.
this.
That young
That was
little
cool.
white girl helping them with those sounds.
Yes.
Where were those sounds?
Yeah,
they didn't do them. They did not do those sounds.
Exactly.
And also,
I was waiting for them to bring it.
Shout out to Amanda of Sing-Off Stalkers, who talked about how Joe Vinson from last season in Delilah, remember she was the bass who did the percussion on all the low notes in Delilah. They got voted off relatively early because they were an all-girl group.
Right.
But Joe was the one who kept bringing that foundation to that group. And so that's kind of not with these guys necessarily, but with some of the groups like Calle Sol and some of the other more female dominated groups, that baseline, that lower middle section is what we really want to feel the fullness of the sound.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I don't understand what I loved that they had these older guys.
Yeah.
And then her so young, and such a new generation.
Beautiful contrast.
But where was it?
No,
they didn't utilize what she had showed them. I was waiting for that. Yeah. I really thought I was going to watch them and go, whoa!
Here's kind of the dilemma you have with doo-wop traditional a cappella.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watching a 50s or 60s movie with the acting. And you go, that's really cool for that thing, but
try
bringing that acting into now, and you just go, what?
It doesn't hold up.
It doesn't hold up so much.
That's what we talk about in screenplay writing. Right. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Element. They're the girls, the all-girl group, the one all-girl group from this season. They're the ones with the fabulous beaded dresses, and their dresses were quite pretty in this episode as well. Okay, Raise Your Glass by Pink. Raise Your Glass.
Oh,
no, I was talking
Tamara.
about the song. I am powerful. I'm a powerful woman.
Whatever you want us to do, host.
The song is Pink's Raise Your Glass. Yes. Thank you for complying, my co-host.
Sure.
At that. Okay.
The opening line was, and they talked about this a little bit, the opening line was unison and it was low, and I felt like they were straining to hit those low notes. Overall, I felt the song was really good and I liked it, but like Ben, for example, talked about the bridge was where the party started, and that was true for me too, because they started off all in unison and it didn't start going anywhere until they broke out. So do you feel that? Tell me what you're thinking.
I just, you know what, I don't like the Emilys.
Right.
It was both of them singing unison. If you got two people, you don't both need to be singing the same part, okay?
No.
And the only reason they're doing that is to make it sound more full.
Right.
I don't like that. And it went on for way too long. And you know what? They're being critiqued on the fact that they can walk in heels. Really?
Yeah.
I would like to be critiqued.
On a singing competition.
And the little Asian girl was like, oh my God, he critiqued us for walking in our heels. It's like, that's not a perk.
No,
okay,
no. When they're not paying
that's
attention.
Not a kudo.
Right, they're not paying attention to the right thing if they're watching you walk.
Yeah. I'm almost.
No, go ahead. You got it.
I didn't like when it didn't feel tight at all to me. And I don't feel like they're a strong group. I still don't feel like they're a strong group.
I hate to say it because I'm a rabid feminist, but I hate I hate to say that.
The dresses were so pretty.
The dresses were so pretty.
I like the
and
heels.
I have no problem saying that. No, it's just that I don't think an all-female group can succeed. And it has just everything to do with the inability to hit those lower, middle, and low notes. I mean, I feel like I'm betraying my gender by saying it. But
we're limited, though. We only have a certain range in this body.
Yeah.
She's doing a good job. She's got a huge mountain here.
Yeah.
Who? And who's ever handling the rhythm and the bass in Element?
She's not one of the Emilys.
She's doing the best she can, but I kind of agree with you. For me, there is never. Again, I always go back to if I've paid to see this.
Right.
You know, how many
am I going to stay on my feet?
How many concession songs am I going to come up with?
Or am I checking my voicemail? Or my email, rather.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Acoustic Cats. They did Hey Ya by Outkast. According to Ben, they were rushing again. I didn't feel that way. And I loved, I keep saying this, I'm a sucker for that when they do the fall. Before the chorus, I thought it was fantastic. When the camera went to Ben, he was kind of squinting into the camera, which when anybody's doing that sort of thing, it's like, where are you going? I don't quite understand. I'm not following you was how I read it. And he was saying that they were rushing, etc. And then he did his butt bit, which I was not a big fan of.
The bass is in my butt?
No, just talking about his butt. Because Jewel was talking about how he talked about his butt, the bass in his butt in the first episode. Right, so this was a callback, and he said butt like 5 times, and Let's hear it for 8th grade humor. Yeah.
That's being generous.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I liked it a lot. Steve, what do you think?
Hey, yeah. Well, I actually was hearing the tempo push. And again, it's a thing about, okay, you have energy, but you can't let the energy interfere with the technical work. And that's hard to do. That takes a lot of, actually it takes a lot of pulling back and confidence.
Discipline.
And discipline, yeah. I did like the little picture bit. I like how these guys are kind of like going, okay, we have to think more than just, you know, the song. So they have they're handing out the little Polaroid pictures and all that sort of stuff, and that's cool.
Well, that's
I like that
were.
they're You didn't get that?
They were shaking like a Polaroid picture.
I didn't know what I didn't.
It's old technology.
So much to pay attention
you see, back
to.
in the day, there was a thing called a Polaroid camera.
Of Instagram.
Which, you know, and that's kind of a good point. It's like you're shaking like, why did you need to shake a picture?
They weren't even
because it's in the lyrics,
days,
that's
right?
why.
I'm dialing you like a rotary phone.
Okay, let's move on to Calle Sol, the group from Puerto Rico. They did Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin. If you'll remember, Ricky Martin did that, like he exploded into the psyche of America by singing that song.
Yes.
And they did it with this really slow tempo. And I was like, oh, I hate this arrangement. And again, I know you critics are out there who have written to us on Twitter, on YouTube. I mean, I don't like taking giant departures from a song. I understand trying to make it your own and really give it a twist. If anybody understands a twist, it's I.
Because it's Tamara twist.
But the slower tempo, I just felt like we're doing a party tune. You can't do a party tune with a slow tempo. I felt like it was really dissonant. Yeah, and then Jewel talked about the mid-range being missing again, and that it didn't. Sean even said it didn't fit with a party theme. Kimlai, I feel like you're dying to say something.
Go, girl.
Go like this, and I'll stop talking.
I'm like, oh. I agree. I think it was Ben who said it's like they lost it. First for me, I felt they lost the energy. They're Puerto Ricans. They have energy like for days, okay?
Exactly.
And they lost their energy. And like Ben said, I think it was Ben, that the singing and the dancing and it's like they're so not used to it that they're a little out of breath. It's like, oh gosh. And it's like, I did think that I felt they pushed themselves.
Okay.
Which was good.
Yeah.
From what, they're doing exactly what he tells them to do.
Right.
Which is great.
Right.
But you need to go above and beyond that.
Yeah.
You can't just, okay, this is what you want me to do this week. I'll do that. It's never going to be good enough.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
I really expected more.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Well, their note was you have no mid-range. You've got two guys and you're using it for your rhythm section.
Right.
So their whole thing was we got to get the mid-range. We got to. So and even in the package, the guy says I got to sing because we need mid-range.
And then they didn't deliver.
One line. And that was it. And I was like, it was in the package. You have to deliver if it's in the package.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna rush us along a little bit here because we have next 10, which are the group of backup singers who were having trouble coming together. They did Hot and Pia by Nelly. I liked the arrangement a lot. I like that kind of jazzy thing. Yes, exactly. Talk,
Absolutely.
Steve.
Well, again, this was a moment where you saw professionals go, okay, you heard what they said. Now let's put on the professional hat and let's get to work.
Absolutely.
And when I was like, oh my God, that is a Manhattan Transfer arrangement. That is going to the song and letting the song be the star.
Right.
And I thought they did not a complete turnaround because they were already good, but they did show that we have depth and we can put the song in front of us.
Yep.
And I agree, they are really coalescing as a single voice.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. Then moving on to the Philharmonic, this is how we do it. It was so full. It was excellent. They were very boy bandy. One of the comments was that the pitch was sharp. What?
No, this is one that I actually watched twice.
Right?
Because you loved it so much. Oh my God, that's amazing. Hashtag Asians rock.
Well, this was the one where last season when they did Queen.
Yes.
There was only a couple that we looked at and went, they could pull off Queen.
Right?
Queen.
Right.
These guys can pull off Queen.
Okay.
There's 6 of them, 5 of them.
what?
Six, I believe. Six. Near the six.
Yeah, they could totally pull off Queen. And I watched this one twice because when Ben said you're a little pitchy, I went back. I was like, okay, again, we don't hear what's in the studio.
Than we are, yeah.
I didn't hear the pitch problem. I just saw these guys are fun, and if they're not in for the long haul, there's something weird going on.
Love it.
So in the Ultimate Sing-Off, they had Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You Make You Stronger by Kelly Clarkson. We had Kaye Soul and Acoustic Cats. I felt the lead vocals were a bit weak on Kaye Soul, and on the Acoustic Cats, the falsetto, but the falsetto to counteract that, the falsetto on the Acoustic Cats was really, really good.
Right.
You guys, just the other thing I wanted to say was, as far as the whole song, I didn't like it as much as the first Ultimate Sing-Off we saw.
No, I didn't like it either.
It just didn't really.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, I think that if you're going to do an Ultimate Sing-Off, first of all, it should be a song that everyone has access to, so that everybody is in on the sing-off. You know what I mean? It should be a song that everyone knows.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody
right?
should kind of know that song.
Well,
that's a pretty big hit.
Okay. You know,
maybe not in Steve's world.
I still have a dial-up modem. Is
okay, you do not.
Okay.
You're lying.
Oh Lord.
No, but yeah, I love the idea of back and forth, and it really does show that they're all friends, which adds another layer of like, oh my God, someone has to go.
Yeah,
but
it's sad.
What do you think?
I'm crying. I didn't like the battle at all.
Okay.
I don't like the classical sound of Acoustic Cats. I want their sound to be more edgy. I want them to have more life experience to where they can, oh gosh.
Okay.
We'll go hang out with them for a weekend.
Yeah, here's the thing. The show's been over for 4 months.
You could give them life experience.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying, with all of your knowledge about like places to eat.
Okay, so
what
we're
guys
talking about eating food. So
ultimately, what happened is Kaye Soul got knocked off.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
I really wasn't.
Well,
of course you weren't, Steve.
No. When I realized that they were going to be in the sing-off, I wasn't surprised that they like
Kaye Soul.
Oh, the Ultimate Sing-Off.
Right, because they just never did anything to pop.
They were bringing it. They were each
But
time they brought it a little bit.
That's not the place to bring it. You bring it every time so you don't get there.
I don't even know why they were on there. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's like you know what, they were put on there for this example.
Okay, so Kaye Soul gets knocked off of the show.
What?
We move next to episode 3. So we're going to go on the third hour that we're covering here.
I will say, although I was surprised Acoustic Cats was on the sing-off in 2. That they were on the final.
You owe me 20 cents, by the way.
Okay.
We're betting big money here.
Okay. So
Can
episode 3, which we watched just a little bit before we came in here. This is #1 hit. So the group number was In Your Eyes, Peter Gabriel. Okay, so we opened with a bunch of solos that were quite beautiful. I thought the gospel backup of the chorus, the swell, was really beautiful, but the song took forever to get started. I mean, it's the sing-off. We know what people sound like in solo. I think you've got to just like bam, bam, bam from the beginning. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, go to Shock the Monkey.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, really, In Your Eyes, it's kind of like a, you know,
it's
it takes
gorgeous
a while.
song.
It actually is pretty.
It is, but you want something to grab you.
Thank you.
Shock
Okay,
the Monkey.
nothing was grabbing me besides your muffins.
She's literally talking about the fact that I brought pumpkin muffins.
You really should watch it with us.
Oh my goodness. I'm talking about food.
It's a party.
Pumpkin muffins with the rum frosting. They were delicious.
Yes.
You can
Tammy and her muffins.
send me a question via Twitter and I will send you the recipe. Yeah, so it was a little bit lackluster for me as an opening group number. I love those numbers so much. And it sort of, you know, just disappointed just a little, and maybe they're just trying something new. Maybe I shouldn't be criticizing that.
I don't know, but they should know that it does set the tone for the show.
Yeah, it is a Mark Burnett production.
Yes, it is.
But I mean, if you come out with like In Your Eyes and it's kind of a slow and thing, instead of moving forward in your seat, you're kind of sitting back in your seat. And you always want to be moving forward. I think
always. You know, here's the thing. No, wait, listen. So episode, episode 2, was Party Anthems.
Right.
This was #1 hits, not get you out of your seat, because that was last episode.
Right.
This is just #1 hits. So this was a #1 hit for Peter
was,
Gabriel.
but it's also at the top of the show. So I think at the
It should have
top
been
of the
someone
show,
else's #1 hit.
you know, they don't like save the fireworks for the third quarter, mid.
Nope.
You know,
I want to
mean,
feel the bass in my butt.
I don't disagree with you, Steve.
Ben
I'm
Folds.
just giving you the opportunity to,
And by the way,
make the point.
I'm probably going to be feeling her muffins in my face. So there's that. Anyway,
Rum, champagne.
Okay,
I love the
while
holidays.
While it's all getting a little crazy here, can we talk a little bit about the
Yes.
judges?
Yes.
Okay, first of
Oh,
all,
God, what do you
we
wanna
just
talk about?
can't stop talking about how beautiful Sean Stockman looks. And I believe when we met him on the red carpet and he came our way,
There's something.
I turned to him and I
like,
said, and now we're joined by the beautiful Ben
Ben
Jesus.
Stockman, and he never talked to us again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God! Okay.
I remember that. He just kept walking, shaking his head.
No, I'm pretty sure the word I used for him was, and now we're joined by the beautiful Sean Stockman. And he came over and he was
really
like,
pretty.
he was shocked by me saying that. Apparently nobody's
He did
called him
look shocked.
beautiful
I know, I
before,
remember
right?
that. Yeah, he
we
kinda
have it on
gave you a look.
video. And, but he, you know, he's kind of known for his style. He's got, you know, the accessories and the jewelry, and he's always wearing these really interesting clothes. But didn't he look especially beautiful this season compared
Seriously,
to?
I don't know what is
what
going
it is.
on.
And for those of us who are aware of this, he's looking younger than he did last season, and I don't like it. I think
Steve.
he has a portrait in his
Something's
attic that's
going on.
aging because he's getting younger.
It's a portrait
No,
of
he
Ben.
We're going
I'll
to talk
get you,
about
Ben Folds.
We're going to talk about that in the news and gossip. But I mean, he just looked so fabulous. Jewel,
Yes.
I'm a massive fan of hers, especially now. Her notes are so detailed. She's got great insight, I feel like. And, you know, they just keep kind of recycling the girls. And, you know, the first season 1 and 2, we had Nicole Scherzinger, which just she just, you know, God bless her. She was very sweet and she was very enthusiastic, but she just kept talking about how she loved everything. Sarah Bareilles, I thought, was fantastic.
I like her.
Yeah.
I miss her, and several of our YouTube fans commented on missing her. And I think, you know, if she's not coming back, I think Jewel is a wonderful replacement. I felt like her notes are so good. And when I talked to Ben about this, at one point he said that their notes are consolidated so much. I mean, there's minute upon minute upon minute of feedback that they give these groups, and they consolidate them down to a few seconds.
Wow.
And so we're getting just the highlights of them, but I think Jewel is fantastic. And of course, Ben, we love him, some of us more than others. And but I feel like this season, his kind of charm and goofiness and silliness are not really coming out. And I hope we get to
agree.
see some of that later. But, you know, he's kind of being painted as the nerd who uses big words, which is true. But his accessibility and his, you know, sort of childlike quality is not coming out the way it has in other seasons. Have you seen that?
Yes, but as you notice too, in this one, what is this, episode 3?
3.
Last night's, he got booed. And I really do feel that as the judge, okay, you have 3 judges. And Sean, everyone loves Sean. Everyone thinks he's beautiful.
He is. It's
And
true.
Jewel, they're painting Jewel as she has the knowledge, the ability to really critique them. They love her. They look at her when they're singing their love songs.
Yep.
Someone has to be the. It can't be like all, what was it, chocolate covered strawberries, as the Asian
So
dude said.
is he the Simon
He has
Cowell?
to- yes, you
Okay.
have to have one. And if you have Mark Burnett producing, it's like someone has got to be that person.
okay.
And you know what? Ben is so like ridiculously
Knowledgeable.
Like that R word.
Yes.
It's
Knowledgeable.
so ridiculously
So-
knowledgeable. He's going to be that person, and
So-
he can be that person.
Going along with your conspiracy theories, which I'm liking. So
It has to be. It's
but
for
that's really
TV.
interesting. Do
You have to realize the bottom line.
Do you think the production team kind of approached him and said, "Hey, man, you got to like change
Someone
up"? and
has to
Not necessarily. That may have been it, but the editing obviously has everything to do with it.
Absolutely.
We
I
know
agree with you.
editors
There's
in reality
something-
TV.
Someone has to be that
the last
person.
season we were with these guys, he was the goofy, funny.
Yes.
He was the and
Jules the
Sean
star
was kind of
now,
more the
but-
serious sort of. This is about the music, you know, and
Right.
that sort. And,
You're right.
And Sarah was, you know, weepy, but.
She was
I agree.
sweet and
I-
appreciative.
Jules
And I
my
don't
favorite.
think he's got. I don't
She's
think he's got
brain
his.
smart.
And it is in hers. I don't know if somebody or. maybe he's trying to find his. I thought it would be Jewel trying to find her way, but she kind of
no, she's found it.
She dropped in quickly.
Halfway through episode 1, she was in place.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe it is part of how they were suggesting he present himself, but then also the editing. I think absolutely. And the thing that people consistently say about him, and I will say it too, is that he's very, very smart. He knows what he's talking about, and he's incredibly knowledgeable about all the instruments that he can play. He was a drummer for a long time before he really settled into the piano. He's obviously a vocalist in his group, and he writes symphonies, for God's sake. He knows all of it, and so he can come, talk about arpeggios and rising and modulations and all that kind of stuff that to the layperson may be a little bit harder to understand, but he can articulate that and speak that and make it a little accessible to the rest of us. So I think maybe you're right that his persona is sort of being modeled a little differently than it has been in other seasons.
Up.
But you guys, it has to be. It's like you think we've got 2 weeks of our holiday special,
right?
And they've already have people like the other groups helping other groups, which it like tugs on your heart, and it's like, oh, that's so sweet and great. And they've got Sean being the one this week going and helping people. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And Jewel is like very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be that person because you have to have all aspects of the show. All aspects. Yeah, that's mine.
It's
you have to have
You're
all. I've got
annoying
too
me.
many different beep beep
Thought it was an
toodaloots on
earthquake.
my phone. It makes the show, and we're
Right.
talking about it, of course.
Right.
So
Right.
it's what it's what.
I
it
like
is.
the open mic thing they do. I think that's cool.
Right, where we get to listen to them confer.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a
Okay,
nice
so
little-
let's go in. We just had 4 groups
Shock the monkey.
competing
Shock the monkey.
during this hour.
Ooh, the
First,
monkey.
we opened with 10, who did "Chain of Fools" by Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin. Remember, we're doing #1 hits.
Yep.
So for me, the setup, the staging, I really loved how they had them set up in sections, and how they had the drummer drumming and that sort of thing. Their task was take it to church. That was what Sean was trying to create.
They
and
raised
then
the roof for
exactly.
Jesus.
And it started to feel really cliche how many different times we heard them say that to me. And as they got into it, when they really broke it down, I felt, I'm going to throw to you, Steve, because I know you agree with me on this. It felt messy.
Very messy.
Okay, talk.
Well, first of all,
Bring it.
When you do something that is so in your wheelhouse,
Yeah.
you have to. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
so
My thought
sorry.
was vibrating
Are
out
we
of my skull.
interrupting you,
I'm supposed to be
Kimlai?
sitting on the phone. Dang it.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Hey there. Hey, yeah. Okay. When you do something that's so in your wheelhouse, you really, really need to nail it 100%. And
Yeah.
this is without a doubt in their wheelhouse. When they did the change-up, love change-ups.
Yep.
I am always pushing for it. You still need a roadmap. And
Right.
that was kind of like,
Yes. A
beginning,
hey,
a middle,
everybody,
and an end.
let's go.
Everybody sing.
Yeah, and it took me easily about 5 or 6 seconds, which is a huge amount of time.
When
in
you're
that
doing
show.
90-second piece?
When
Yeah.
you're trying to like, well, where are you guys? Where are you guys? I don't know what key you changed up
Yep.
to. I don't know where you're going to it. I
Yep.
don't know if it was a tempo thing. Change ups are great, but they are so important to do exactly right. So, I was kind of expecting to see them down at the bottom too, and I was a little bit surprised that they weren't. But Chain of Fools, cool.
Right?
Right. Cool.
Kimlai, do you have anything to add?
You guys, this is the first time I felt like they actually gelled. But I think it was at the beginning. Because I did get a little lost.
Okay.
But I was just like, but I don't like that the emphasis is placed on the fact that they're all professionals and they've never sang together before.
I mean,
It's like, that drives me nuts.
You
Is
have
that
to
true?
I don't
haven't
want to
heard
know that.
Is
Yes,
that true? I
that
didn't
was
hear that. Is
episode
that true?
2.
Yeah,
Episode
yeah,
2.
Have they
Yeah.
mentioned that?
Episode 2.
Oh my God! Really?
This
I'm-
is Steve
that's
being
Wow.
sarcastic.
so
Those of you who may
old.
not be into
So
subtlety.
news to me.
And you know what? That's not a compliment. I don't want to know that you're taking it so not serious that you have not rehearsed before this show.
Right.
And that this show is where you decide on this platform to work together because you guys are so good individually.
Right.
No, that
Right.
doesn't work.
Right.
I don't want to know
yeah,
that.
or it's kind of like a caveat excuse sort of thing of like, hey, we just got together, cut us some break.
Sure.
I'm not sure where they're
We're a
going,
national
but I
team.
kind of
Let's use
agree.
this
I
platform.
don't care if you sang together for years or you just met outside.
Here's where it's coming down
Right.
to.
I don't care about your history. I care
Right.
about what you do on the stage.
Right. Well, and
Bring it.
right, the lowering expectations is part of it.
Why should we lower our expectations?
Not if they're all
what do you
pros.
mean?
If you create a lower expectation and then you meet it, then people are amazed by you. I mean,
Right.
it's a pretty.
They created.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought you meant we should like lower.
No.
I'm like,
I
what?
mean, they're they're
You
kind of
don't mean.
underselling themselves so that they can
Yeah,
come
I
back
don't
and
like
amaze
that.
people. So it's a bit of a tactic. I love the idea of making that sort of. I'm not sure what the word is, but that kind of counterpoint and lots going on sort of sound. But if you get it wrong, it sounds messy, and that's what their problem was.
It's risky.
Yeah, it is. It is, and if it doesn't work, it sounds like a train wreck.
But that might be part of what the judges see. The judges may see the fact that you took the risk.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you points for taking the risk,
Yeah.
whether you pulled it off or not. So
Come on,
Yeah,
they're
but when we're
professional
talking-
singers. Come on.
And
Are
when we're
they? I
talking
hadn't
about
heard
only
that.
4 groups, there's a 25% chance you're leaving. So that's a
Right.
pretty high odds.
Exactly.
Acousticats did Amazed by Lone Star. I'm going to let you guys start with this one. Just,
Wow.
and
what do you
I'll add
got?
in.
What do you got on Acoustic Cats?
I wasn't impressed.
Okay.
I do not like staged proposals. Oh,
that's later. We'll get to that
Sorry,
later.
that was part of the thing. Okay, I thought it started out super slow. Man, I don't know. It's like whenever you do a song, like I get that you're supposed to make it your own.
Yeah.
But whenever you take a song that has such significant value, like Lone Star sang this.
Yes.
Okay.
And so Lone Star sang this, and they're an amazing country group.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? You better either sing it like them or better than them.
Right.
That's
And
it. If you don't reach those two, it's no. I didn't like that.
you suffer
I didn't like
comparison, and you will not come.
But I'm not a fan either.
Yeah. Okay.
Just so you know, most proposals are staged. They're
Okay.
rarely
Mine will
like
be.
Whatever,
when I'm
let's
80
get to that in a
82.
minute. Okay, in the second half, we had the
Yes.
solo come out and, that kind of heroic tenor, the Les Miserables kind of sound come out, which I thought was very pretty. But overall, I mean, I thought it was pretty. I wasn't like blown away by it. And I'm a fan of the Acousticats.
I was bored.
How
What?
about Sean saying, make sure you guys, this help you guys focus. You guys look at somebody in the audience, and they were going, "Yeah, my sister's going to be there. My mom's there."
Yeah.
Ew, really?
Come on, they're college guys.
I
and
was
the
going to bring
vocals.
this out in the news and gossip, but since we've got it already here. So the Acousticats published this photo of Mike proposing to his girl, Maggie, I believe was her name. And then Ben
I didn't know Mike was British.
I know it says UK.
Ben always talked about how he always has a camera underneath the desk, and so this was the photo that he
God,
took.
that's a
of
better
that
picture
moment,
than the
yeah.
professional picture.
Well, it's it's very stylized and quite pretty. He's very accomplished photographer. Has done several.
Ben Folds?
Yeah.
Is there
Has
anything he can't do?
No, not very much.
Hello, smart
Can't
people.
make muffins.
What?
What?
Can't make muffins.
Not like I can.
Oh my God.
And he can't make caramel. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the other bands are like going, really?
Oh, gee.
What do
Yeah,
we
we
need
don't
to do?
dig that.
Propose
I'm
to her.
sorry.
I'm not ready to get
I guarantee
married.
you, if someone's on the cusp of going to the sing-off, they're going to go like, and I have a pregnancy I'd like to announce.
Honey,
Yeah, I'm not a fan
Honey,
of that.
I know you're not
at
ready for
all.
this, but we're getting married, and it's because of the freaking sing-off. Okay,
Someone's got to get married. Hey,
Let's move
Mike.
on to Street Corner Renaissance. They did the CeeLo Green song "Forget You." I loved it.
Yep.
too.
Yep.
That's it.
No, the song,
kidding.
the arrangement of the song and everything absolutely lends itself to a cappella. It just is the same problem. What did you do with it? You were so legitimate with it, and you were so on the nose with it that where do you go with it to be different?
I disagree with you. I felt like they broke out of their style a little bit, again, by taking a very modern song, but they did not have that wall of sound that kind of, pardon the puns, but like resonated within like the chest area of all of us. It comes out, it hits us, we hear it with a Philharmonic all the time, and we were like, because it's the sort of visceral reaction, and they don't have that because that's not their style. But I still loved it. Loved it.
Listen, I loved
too.
it. Like I said,
Loved
I
it.
thought the song absolutely lended itself to that style.
Yes. But the style limits them is essentially what you're saying.
Yeah, that's my only
Okay.
point. I just keep
right.
bringing it up.
Anything
That's
else,
all I
Miss
got.
Kimlai, on that one?
I liked it.
Okay, the Philharmonic did One More Night, Maroon 5. First of all, I just want to say their video package was hilarious, where
Yeah,
they
it
talk
was
about,
great.
there needs to be wind, And then they show the guy like, you know, in front of the wind machine, and there needs to be water, and the other guy getting like sprayed on with like a car wash spray.
Teeny sprayer, and he's the biggest guy.
Yeah.
The biggest guy.
Yep.
I thought the song choice was great for them. You know, they're essentially a boy band, and you know, we can harken back to all of them that we've seen throughout history, and they're a boy band, but they do a great job of it. It'll be interesting to see how they either expand or stay within that genre. What did you guys think?
This is my question about this show, which is, do these groups have history with their material? In other words,
yeah,
I have on Wednesday, these guys can do Queen.
Right.
Today I have, this is a concession run song. If I'm at that concert,
that is a huge variance for you.
That's where I'm going to go get my hot dog and beer, because
Champagne.
nothing happened. Well,
it's because he's hanging with us. It would be beer if we weren't there.
Yeah.
Kimlai.
Nothing happened in this song. And I'm wondering, do you bring your history in? Do they say, well, last week you were amazing. We're going to expect amazing things. What the hell is this? Or is it a clean slate every week? And you just go, okay, well, this is your choice this week, but why the hell aren't you doing something as cool? You know, I just, because there's history with me, I mean, as I'm watching these guys, I'm developing, you know, what they can do and that sort of stuff. And I don't know. It's just was waiting for something to happen in this song. Maybe I'm not familiar with the song. All the more reason they should do something to really excite me, and they just kind of didn't pull it off.
All right. Well, so then what we ended up having in the ultimate sing-off was Street Corner Renaissance with Philharmonic.
Yeah,
doing Kiss Him Goodbye,
Really?
which, you know, it was a little bit of a challenge for me to watch because I know this song so well because my a cappella group sang this, and I felt like there were a couple of places where they were sort of missing some of the layers that you talk about. Steve, you were talking about Street Corner Renaissance bringing the layers on this one, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. When you go to that na-na-na-na-na-na part, that is a moment where you need to just kick the chalks out and really, really layer it. And Streetcar did all the harmonics. They went up high. They did the really, really high notes.
Wouldn't that be funny if
I'm underscoring
what if we
you.
broke out in song right now? That'd be amazing.
Philharmonic didn't match that. But in this particular song, they kind of benefited each other because it was just so full anyway. That it was really kind of why they say that this is the most difficult thing, is because it was such a wash one way or the other. Nobody really stood out because the song itself is kind of, it can be really stagnant if nobody moves.
So did you feel like the Philharmonic won the ultimate sing-off in this case?
Honestly, for me, it was a wash.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I actually thought, as I was watching it and just thinking about who was grabbing my attention, Street Corner actually grabbed my attention more than Philharmonic. But again, if you talk about history, I was glad Philharmonic won because I knew what I was going to get with Street Corner every single week.
Right.
I think I'm going to get something different. If this is a wake-up call for Philharmonic, they can really do some amazing stuff.
Right.
I don't think the wake-up call for Street Corner was going to be as big.
Right.
So
because they like North Shore did last season, they're not, you know, I don't know if it's not willing or just not interested or can't move past their genre. Essentially, they're not really going to.
You spend a lot of time.
So there are 5 guys in Street Corner Renaissance, 6 in Philharmonic, but the Philharmonic has such a louder, a more full sound.
Yeah, and they're exposed to a lot of different material that
Philharmonic.
I think so.
Not Street Corner.
No, I think Philharmonic is because there's a lot of songs that Street Corner just wouldn't bother to put into their lineup. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it is, and again, well, we can get into predictions, but I'm done.
All right, Kimlai, what do you think about the ultimate sing-off? Tell me.
Well, first off, I didn't think those two. I thought it was going to be 10 and Acoustic Cat.
When we did our predictions beforehand, Kimlai was entirely wrong and Steve was half wrong in his prediction before we went into it.
So I wasn't digging that. I didn't get that. I didn't have Street Corner in the final 2 at all. So, wow, I was lost a little during, I didn't even know what to think when we were watching that because I really thought another group was going to go home.
Do you have
I'm a little bummed that Street Corner did go home. I thought they would last a little bit longer. Yeah. I am glad that Philharmonic is going to stay because, well, I do think they are very, very gifted singers. They have the funny element.
Yes.
But you know what? If you're going to be funny, you better have a discipline on the other side to bring it with that work ethic. that's really strong work ethic. That I know they have. They've showed they have, and the funny, great. It plays together. Is that making sense?
Yeah,
except,
no, it is.
If you aren't good and you're just funny, it doesn't even matter.
No.
Except to that point, you're basing a lot of that funny on their video package.
Yeah, their packages.
Which I'm not sure they have any control over.
Again, yeah.
It might be the way that
they're with a car wash shour.
Right. But
sort of
I'm not
funny.
sure that they're coming up with that stuff, or the production team is saying, okay, this is what we want to do with you
But they
guys.
look funny. Like Asians are funny.
Okay, there you
just
go.
saying.
Okay.
There you go. That's my new
That
bumper
will
sticker.
be the
Asians are
generalized
funny.
Asian comment. You can
They
tweet
seem
her.
funny.
Send all your letters to what is
Kimlai
your
Yingling on Twitter.
just any number
Oh
of
my
her
gosh, Ling
website.
Ling. You called me Ling Ling.
I did.
That's a
because I've
panda.
had I know. Yingling, I'm trying to
Stop
read.
pandaing to her.
Okay.
Stop it. Let me finish my drink.
Just to talk about the demographic of the people who watch this show. We're going
Yes.
to talk about it a little more in news. But I got a tweet from one of my college professors whose dissertation, his doctorate dissertation, was on the music of Bob Dylan.
Wow.
And he wrote me a note last night and he said, boo, they tossed Street Corner Renaissance and kept the boy band wannabes. I'm so disappointed I may not watch the rest of the season. And he said, and I said, I was surprised that he even watched at all because it didn't seem like his jam. And he says, mostly I watch because Ben Folds is so smart. Well, you know what, Larry? I'm in Mensa, okay? I will show you my card next week. And I know he knows I'm smart because I was in his class. And but he said he's waiting for the 2-hour Bob Dylan tribute night.
Is that coming?
You know, no, it's not. His doctoral dissertation was on Bob Dylan. But, you know, we've got the demographics from, you know, tweens all the way to, you know, my parents who are well past their 60s. And that's all I'm going to say. But it's my dad's birthday tonight. Hey, Daddy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Ed.
birthday.
Happy birthday,
I
Ed.
love the inclusiveness of this, and it's echoed in things like the Philharmonic and Street Corner Renaissance both being in this competition.
Yep.
You know, and it's incredible. So, any other final thoughts on these two shows? Otherwise, we're going to go into news and gossip. What do you got, guys?
Well, I'm really excited to see the next 4 go up.
Yeah.
You know,
That's gonna
and
be
just as
very
I'm looking at
interesting, for
just
sure.
as I'm looking at this list of who we saw Thursday.
Yep.
With Street Corner gone, that leaves Philharmonic's Acoustic Hats and 10.
Yep.
And I got to say, looking at that, you know, Acoustic Hats better get a little nervous.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Not,
Totally
not
agree.
that I'm predicting, but
Why don't you just predict? Just
Okay.
commit.
Well,
See,
no.
commit.
Hang on to your predictions.
Oh, yeah,
Do you have
hold
anything
it.
else you want to say about just in a general sense about these 2 episodes?
No, I was really I had a fantastic time watching on Wednesday. What was it? Episode 2.
by yourself.
Episode 2, and then
by
episode
myself.
3, watching with us with champagne and
Look
my
at
muffins.
Me by myself is highlights in blue
Yeah.
and yellow and pink, and me with you guys, I wrote 4 words.
Yeah.
So,
Right, 'cause
anyways,
we
Totally cool. Oh
and
my
drink
god.
champagne and like you guys totally like such bad influences.
WTF? LOL.
Okay, we're going to move on to news and gossip. Then we're going to
Yes.
go to predictions. So you guys think about your
Okay.
predictions
Okay.
while we're doing
Okay.
this.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, The Sing-Off came back with a roar. First episode, 8.39 million, #1 in its time slot.
Yay.
But it slid dramatically. Episode 2 was only 6.03 million. However, still #1 in the time slot. It's a bit of a slide, but we love that they're #1 in their time slot. Not much to compare them to, but we're all such rabid fans of The Sing-Off. We all signed the petition to bring it back. I'd like to think that the ratings will actually go up from here because maybe the sort of riffraff has been eliminated and we're going to focus on the really awesome.
But to be fair, the second episode was a lot of like you're either trying to refocus or you're still in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is going to be a little bit of a rough patch as they kind of weed out some of them, and I think the latter few are going to be just really great.
Of course.
Yeah, I think they're going to be amazing episodes for
Doesn't
sure,
mean you
for
shouldn't
sure.
watch. Keep watching, people.
No, you should watch. Well, I mean, it's so worth watching.
Write those letters.
I forgot to print. I printed them. I left them on my printer. The comments that we got from YouTube, people talking about Steve and I, you and I were critical on the "Tell Me Something Good"
Right.
song about how they really didn't honor the sense of where the song came from.
Right.
We got comments, and I answered them on YouTube.
I saw that.
Saying
Yes,
that,
you did.
you know, one of our critics said that we lost them because they were making the song their own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
And
what
essentially,
Sing-Off
you
is
and I
about.
didn't like it.
Well, you can make the song your own, but you also have to understand what makes that song the hook in the first
Iconic.
place. Yes, what makes
Yeah.
it iconic. So that was our point, which was that's the point of the show. Make it your own, but don't lose track of what hooked us in the first place.
Yes.
The heart
To
and the
your benefit.
Yes.
To your
Yes.
benefit,
Yeah.
not because we're purists.
But that was a fast. We didn't. I don't think there was a lot of time though to get
No,
a
that's
lot
true.
of things out as
That's
well.
true.
So
That's
But
true.
the good news
on
was
your guys's
somebody took
how
the
do you say
time
that?
to make the comment. So thank you for that.
Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for commenting.
Keep 'em coming.
CASA, which is the A Cappella Association, they said they feel like the Philharmonic is the Afro Blue of this season. Producers make you love them and then drop them stupidly.
Oh,
I
are
don't
they
think
saying
it's-
that there's no real in reality?
Yeah, a little bit.
So
That's
not
weird.
a fan.
Yes.
I don't think the producers have anything to. You know what? I don't think. I haven't been a fan of it.
The
'cause
producers do
that's-
well. That's an interesting point. And that's something that you and I talk about a lot.
Yes.
Is how much backstage
Because we talk
stuff
a
goes
lot, Steve and I, we do.
on. Oh, usually
annoying.
2 in the morning in a dive bar,
Wait,
crying,
where have I been?
I know.
crying over careers.
Oh
no,
my gosh.
Invited you.
there is the producers do have say in this in the video packages and how things are going up.
I know.
Interestingly, when on Wednesday night when Nick reread the bands,
Yes.
did you notice they
Wait.
were out of order?
What? What?
The
What do you
bands-
mean?
I did not notice, but I always
The-
count on you to notice those
The
things
bands
for me.
were out of order. When he reread who performed, he said voice play, home free, vocal rush.
Okay.
When the way they were presented on air was vocal rush, home free, voice play. So either he got it wrong, which is doubtful, or they rearranged the order for some sort of reason.
Right.
So to your point, yes, producers do have a little bit of play in the video packages and how they present the bands and how they're presented. They don't have any say so much in how their sound is because that is what it is,
right,
and
right.
that would be horribly
Right.
inappropriate.
Right.
So there is a little bit of play that goes on, and I would love to know.
I
Would
know,
love to
I know. We're never gonna know though. We can always count on Steve to be the guy behind the guy.
I have
you know,
no
or at
life.
least thinking about the guy
I
behind the guy.
just watch
Okay,
television.
another comment I found on Twitter, which was hilarious. This is Uncharted Sings put up a tweet that said, "I'd like to see Ben Folds and Nick Lachey switch hairstyles for one show." And so one viewer created
Oh,
that.
nice! Hey, Ben Folds
So
looks
this is
good.
Ben's face on Nick's hair.
I mean, Nick looks good with
And
it.
Yeah, Nick
Yeah.
looks really good. Ben, I don't
Right?
really
Oh my God,
recognize Ben
Nick!
Folds.
Nick looks like a '70s cop.
gosh.
in
Isn't
like
that
a,
hilarious?
Like a Mod Squad.
And there's kind of a
70s.
David
love it.
Duchovny thing going on
Love
there,
it.
right?
Yeah.
I love that.
So check that out. If you can't find it on Twitter, tweet
love
me
it.
and I'll send it to you. But the hashtag is Ben and Nick Switch. Very, very funny. And I just want to say from this that Nick Lachey has a nicely shaped head.
I've always said that about him.
Just a quick side note on this one. Last year's winner of the Sing-Off, Pentatonic,
Yes.
who has a beautiful Christmas album that's been out for a while, but they've got the Little Drummer Boy that's out right now that's become very popular. It's beautiful. They won $200,000 and a Sony recording contract. This year's winners win $100,000 and a Sony recording contract. Mark Burnett put
Mark-
a little in his pocket,
A Mark
right?
Burnett production.
But it's half the season.
You know that. Well, that also might have been part of the thing to get
it's
him
only
back.
2 weeks.
It's still only one winner.
But that might have
You can't
See?
dispute that.
that might have been part of the package to get it back on the air.
Absolutely, I'm
You know,
sure,
There
I'm
was
sure,
a
but I
ton of
just-
negotiation that had to
I
happen.
thought that was interesting. I just found that interesting. Okay, and then one more thing. This is fabulous. Read this article on the Huffington Post front page yesterday. I hope it's still there. Ben Folds wrote an article called "Why Acapella Rocks," and it starts with talking about
Nice.
the high school kids vocal rush and why acapella. He's a big proponent for music therapy and arts in the schools. Holla. I adore you, Ben Folds, for doing this and for being a proponent for these things. The arts matter, and we need to keep them in schools and keep them accessible to everyone, not just the elite. So read this article. It's on the Huffington Post. I will tweet out the link later today so that you can look at it. But Ben Folds staying current and advocating for the arts and especially a cappella. So read that.
Good.
So now let's talk about predictions.
You take your prediction.
I'm
now,
so out of breath.
AFTERBUZZ TV
I'm exhausted.
predictions.
So we have four more. We have 4 more groups next week.
Yes.
Who's up next week?
Yes.
Yeah, who is up?
Home fries.
Yep, we got Vocal Rush, Home Free,
Home free.
Element,
Yep. Yep.
and
Is it voice play?
Voice play. Yes.
Oh, great. I get those two mixed up. Voice play and Vocal Rush.
I know. I've got to look at my notes from 2 notes ago.
Okay, oh, real quick. Who's going to be in the bottom 2?
Next
Let's
week?
just do who's going to be in the bottom 2 next week. And let's just stop at that.
Okay, who's it again?
Element,
Home fries?
Vocal Rush, Voice Play, and Home Free.
It's basically the first 3 of last week and then Element.
Yeah.
Element.
Yeah, I'm saying Element is definitely going to be down
Okay.
there.
Who are the 2 to
And
pick from?
I think possibly Home Free.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
No.
Kimlai,
No
your
way.
prediction?
No way. Who are the 4? I'm sorry again.
Element, Vocal Rush, Voice Play, and Home Free.
These
Element
3 and then
done.
Element, yeah.
Element. Home free. Absolutely not.
So you
it's
agree
these-
with me that Home Free will be down there?
No, I
No.
agree that home free will not be.
Okay, so you're saying
I'm
Home
agreeing
Free.
with myself. Element. Okay, Element will be done.
Right, I
Okay.
don't agree.
Vocal Rush, not done. I mean the bottom 2. Who are the 4 again?
Okay, I'm going to say
Jesus.
Element and Voice Play are going to be the bottom 2. That's all I'm going to say.
That's
Element
what,
and
that's what
Voice
Kimlai
I'm
was
gonna go
trying
with
to
you.
say.
I'm gonna go with you.
That's what she was trying to say.
It is Vocal Rush.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Element and Voice Play.
Voice
And
play.
Steve, you're saying Element and
Getting
Home Free. So
I
are
think
we
so.
all saying that Element's going to be off next
And
episode?
you know what? Unless they do something absolutely amazing.
They could. They
I
could
hope
amaze
they
us.
do.
All-girl group.
I hope
They need to be
do.
gone.
They
The
could.
all-girl group. We need to get down to
don't
business.
Be saying that.
We need to get down to business.
Okay, if that's what it's all about, then we'll make it happen.
rid of the fat.
Tweet us, watch us on YouTube, watch us on iTunes.
Comments,
we so
comments,
appreciate
comments,
it.
comments,
Steve,
comments,
guys.
comments.
Steve,
Go.
where can they tweet
They
you?
can find me at Bottomley Steven and leave comments on YouTube and iTunes.
Okay, Kimlai.
Sweet. Yes, iTunes, YouTube for sure. Tweet me, Kimlai Yingling, KIMLAIYINGLING.
Wow.
And
Yay.
Kimlai was her name.
Oh.
You can find me on Twitter at Tamara Berg, TAMARABERG. Thank you for all you new Twitter followers that I picked up this week.
awesome.
My website is tamaracentral.com. We will see you next time. Check YouTube and Twitter. We will tell you when we're going to podcasting next. It's a lot to coordinate to get us all together, but we will see you next time for the Sing-Off. Thanks for joining us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.